Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to check fresh release from Special Hobby. It is molded in 1/48 scale as it's written here, and it copies the Focke Achgelis SH48201 Drache, but this time it's a captured version, so you will be able to replicate some of the Allies aircraft's markings on this unusual German aircraft. So you can see it on the box art. I would say box size is typical for Special Hobby kits. Here you can see comparison with my hand. We have quite nice box art, by the way. And then on this side you can see some information about the kit. Then on the other side you can see a bit more information about the kit, but again it's a typical stuff for Special Hobby. I'm not sure what is happening with the live stream, so just give me a second. I need to check it because the internet is acting funny. This time it's not the hardware, it's more the internet connection problem. I'm not sure why it is like this, but let's see. So just give me a sec. And I need to update the page, and then we'll take a closer look at what is hidden inside. I'm not sure on what is happening here with the connection. Hi Nikki, so if you are able to see at least something, write it in the comments, because I see that connection is more or less fine, there are no problems whatsoever. Nevertheless, YouTube writes that there is a really thin channel, so not all the data is going through, and I'm seeing it as a problem with image. So just give me a second, I will try to fix it and I will be live back. Actually, I see that the image is somehow working. Okay, now it's more or less fine. So, as I said, here we have the fresh release from Special Hobby, and as you can see it is molded in 1/48 scale. Let's open it. It's a top opening box, and here is what we have inside. So there is plenty of space inside. Nevertheless, on the top we have assembly manual. We will check it in the end of the video review, and all the sprues are packed into the same plastic bag. So it's a resealable plastic bag, and we are going to open it and take a look inside. So thank you for 2 likes, by the way. I will remove this box here. And what do we have here? All plastic frames come together. Nevertheless, I see that there are some plastic bags inside. So let's open all this stuff and take a more careful look at all those elements. First of all, on the top we have a small plastic bag with decals and also 2 PE threads, and it is visible that those PE threads were made in Edward. So let's remove them. Here is the first one, and maybe I can zoom in a bit so that you can see it in a better detail. So here obviously we have more of the parts for the cockpit, the instrument panel, the seat belts, everything is here, and that's really useful upgrade, I would say. Thank you for 4 likes, by the way. Here we have another PE thread. This one is more concerned with structure elements. So here we have both internal and external elements, and for example, here you can see the rudder pedals, so those obviously will go into the cockpit. And next we have small decals sheet, which is printed by Edward. I guess this one was printed with help of the modern technology from Czech manufacturer. So I guess you can you can understand which countries will be replicated here. But the British marking option and also US marking option. I'm not sure about the Soviet one, so let's see. Next here we have another plastic bag. This one is dedicated to clear plastic parts, so let's open it. As you remember, this aircraft had huge canopy, and obviously it is not openable because it wasn't openable on the real aircraft as well. Nevertheless, molding quality looks really great, but you do not get any masks in this kit, so you have to cut your own stickers for all those clear areas. Be ready for this. Here you can see another one, but otherwise molding quality looks really great. Next we have another plastic bag. This one is dedicated to resin parts, so let's open it as well. I'll increase a bit the ISO because I can see that it is not as bright as it could be. So here we have resin parts, as I said, and those should help you get even more detailed aircraft. So what do we have here? Let's zoom in. First of all, here we have instrument panels, and as you can see they're detailed both inside and outside, I mean from both sides. And that's quite surprising, I would say. Maybe there will be a possibility to see those parts from both sides. Here we have the landing gear wheels, as far as I can understand, and these are molded in such an interesting shape. Next we have one of the control surfaces. I guess that will be the rudder, and as you can see it is really thin, so it's obviously better than the standard plastic element. Thank you for the 5th slide, by the way. Here you can see another part. I'm not even sure where this one will be used, so we'll have to check the assembly manual. And here is one more. Those two cylinders will be used for the propeller, as far as I can guess, but again we will know more after we check the assembly manual. Next we have first gray plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to fuselage halves, actually fuselage sections, because here we have several pieces. Let's zoom out a bit. So first of all we have these tail segments, then we have the main sections which should be glued out of 2 halves as well, and external detailing is more or less okay, I would say. It's not that excellent, but it should be fine for out of the box build. But note that inside we do not have any guiding elements, so you have to be careful while combining all this stuff together. Otherwise, I mean, I do not see any possible issues. Even molding quality is more or less fine. Those attachment points are thin enough, so it should be easy to separate those parts and glue them together. Next we have another plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to large propeller blades. So as you remember, this is a helicopter, so that's why we have here one-piece propeller blades. I can see that they do not have any bend, so if you would like to replicate it on your model, you have to be doing some additional work, but you do not get it out of the box. Okay. Next we have another plastic sprue. This one comes from these. For example, here we have the pilot seat, also here we have some of the landing gear wheels, but as you remember we have them replicated in resin, so I'm not sure if those will be used actually. Nevertheless, note also the amount of thin parts here, for example, so be careful while separating them because it will be a bit tricky to do. And as you can see, those landing gear wheels, they will have to be glued out of 2 halves, so it's also a bit tedious work in my opinion. And last but not the least, gray plastic sprue is this one, and here we get a full range of the thin frames, thin spars and other stuff, and it will be really tricky work to separate everything carefully and align it together once you assemble it on the model. But once you have it done, it should be a nice looking helicopter in 1/48 scale in my opinion. Next we have this. So this is assembly manual obviously. So let's zoom out a bit. Now you should be able to see it, but I will try to move the light like this. Okay, so here on the first page we have short history note in 2 languages, then parts map and assembly process starts. So as you can see here we work on the cockpit cage, let's say, and it will be a bit tedious work because you can see how many parts should be combined together, and you will have to check the alignment of those parts because otherwise you might end up with ugly looking sub-assembly. Next we continue with installation of this stuff together with a wall here, and note that this wall did not have any guiding elements as far as I remember. Just give me a second, I will check it. No, there are small carved outs which should help you with proper guiding of those frames inside. So at least something. Here we continue with joining those two tail sections together, and then you cut off the rudder, replace it with resin part. That will be a bit of work to do. Here we continue with more frames, and again you join those two fuselage halves together and therefore enclose the cockpit area inside. Next we continue with instrument panels. Here we have the nose area being assembled. As you can see, you have to combine two resin parts together, and that's actually where you have to use the resin part if you would like to copy the first two marking options. Next we continue with these large frames which will be holding the propellers, as far as I remember. Then you of course install the propellers. Here you assemble the landing gear wheel system, and I'm not sure on where goes another type of the parts because I do not see it. So just give me a second. No, it's here. So it's actually the engine or the transmission parts which will be used for the propeller. Then here we have first marking option comes from Britain, from, it's written somewhere here, 1945, September 1945. Here we have the US aircraft which comes from 1945, June 1945. And next we have another aircraft. This one I'm not sure where it was used, but it comes from October 1944, so it was catched by the hence US troops. So 3 marking options in total. For 1/48 scale kit it should be more or less fine. Of course it could be more, maybe some what if marking options, but we have what we have, so for out of the box version it's fine in my opinion. And that's all for this video review. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and also